Alrighty, how's everybody doing? Hopefully my mic sounds fine. It has been almost 3 weeks since I last talked to you guys. I feel like it was just after Thanksgiving when I last did a live stream. It's been a very long time since we've last been live here on the channel. Very busy, obviously, with it being the holidays. So, yeah, but I at least just want to come on here and track some severe weather and some wintry weather with you guys. Let's see what we have here in the chat. We have weather, we have Indiana, Pez, Caleb, Catman, Brooklyn, Proxy, Cruz, Jake. Gonna go down a little bit here. We have Siege. Let's see, Kaylee. Oh, it's dropped in 20 degrees in 2 hours. I don't think mine was that bad, but yesterday it was like a nice mid 70s, and today it's in the lower 40s to upper 30s. So pretty cold, but I don't think it would drop that fast. Weston's weather. Glad to see you in here, Diamond, Caden. And everyone else who's in the stream, let's go ahead and switch over. Hopefully everything is good. We are at a level 5 out of 5 today for an extreme ice storm in the northeastern portions of the U.S. Our blizzard is actually a major blizzard, which is a level 4 out of 5. And then our severe weather is thankfully way down there on that scale at just a level 2 out of 5 for today. But a very intense storm moving across the country right now. It does classify as a bomb cyclone in this portion of the globe, this latitude that we have. It's actually a 20 millibar drop in 24 hours, and that is what we're expecting this system to do here, which I guess, I don't know exactly what classification you would use here in terms of time to time, but I mean, if from 14Z this morning all the way till about 14Z tomorrow morning, this thing's going to drop about 20 millibars. Even right now, it's about a 995 millibar. And if we go to 18Z tomorrow, it's going to be a 975 millibar, which is still 20 millibar drop there. So still, I mean, really, it's going to be a bomb cyclone. If not a bomb cyclone, it's going to be right on the edge of a bomb cyclone. We did just get a blizzard warning upgrade here. So if you are out here in Webster City, Iowa, Eldora, that is just 2 counties to the north of Des Moines, Iowa. Just got a lot of areas, Waterloo, Iowa included in that, also upgraded to a blizzard warning. So quite a few new counties introduced to that blizzard warning. Taking a look at just our warnings here, we'll go to this right here. This is your active warnings. That red is obviously blizzard warnings, which stretches all the way up from the Canada, North Dakota, Minnesota borders, all the way down through central southern Minnesota, all the way into now central Iowa, and then a little bit of a break there. It goes into winter storm warnings there in the pink, and then back to blizzard warnings in portions of Wisconsin and Michigan, and then back to winter storm warnings, and then to winter weather advisories. And then again, we switch over to winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, lake effect snow warnings, and many of these are going to be for ice. We got a big ice storm coming in here in the overnight hours tonight into early tomorrow morning. That will be bringing some very, very crucial ice out there, upwards of an inch of ice and higher elevations in Vermont and New Hampshire being a possibility, which the infrastructure is going to be absolutely destroyed out here. I mean, it's going to be a very crazy ice event. The biggest issue is obviously going to be traveling and power outages. Those will be the two main things. I just want to take a quick look here at our WSSI, which is what we use for that skill at the top above my face cam. We do have little areas of extreme along some regions here across the immediate coastline areas. Some higher elevations are at extreme. A few of these areas are at extreme, and it's only every here and there. It's not like a big area under an extreme risk, but it's enough for me to say, you know, we should just be at that level 5 out of 5 risk, because this ice storm is going to be very, very crippling, and then of course our blizzard is going to be very major as well. Set a new outlook here. Welcome Catman to the stream. Glad to see you in here. Let's see. They probably kept that 5% because when they pull the trigger, it's pretty tough for them to unpull the trigger. If they pull the trigger on like a 5% tornado risk on the afternoon update, there's a very high chance they're going to keep that unless the event's over or completely underperformed, which they did keep that 5% tornado risk. It's an okay event. I really don't see it being that big of an event. I'm not really that concerned about it. Honestly, the biggest event is going to be the ice storm overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, and then also the blizzard is a pretty big one right now too. So I'm not very concerned about the severe weather threat out there for portions of Illinois. So there's your severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Pretty big, slight risk for severe weather. This isn't the new one. I don't think this is the new one just yet. Let's see. Yeah, this is actually the new one. Matter of fact, this is actually the new outlook from the SPC. So yeah, you can see that big slight risk there for severe weather. Decent sized 5% tornado risk. And then the biggest risk is damaging winds, widespread 60-mile-an-hour winds being possible, gusts as high as 75 to 80 miles per hour. And then also a little bit of small hail possible there on the northern end of our severe weather risk for today. Overall, like I said, not really anything overly impressive. We do have one severe thunderstorm warning right now. That is out here just south of where Caleb is, out here in central Illinois. So this includes the Morton area, Tremont, back all the way towards just east of Banner in central Illinois. And let me see if they... Okay, they did keep that tornado possible tag. A little bit interesting there. I really don't see this being tornadic right now, or even close to being tornadic at the moment. But they did keep that Tor possible tag, so just make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows. Just upwards of 60-mile-an-hour winds possible for about the next 5 to 6 minutes here, and then you'll be good to go. All right, I do want to go ahead and do a dive into the background of our severe weather event for today. Kind of do a dive into just the trough as a whole. This is one of the most robust systems and most intense deepening lows that we've seen so far this year, really. I mean, really, the last couple months, and like the last 10 months, maybe excluding January, because we really had crazy January, February, winter months. But in terms of if you go from spring, this year, spring, all the way through the winter months we've already passed, this is really the one of the most rapid deepening lows we've had. And you can see, I mean, we're just going to keep having that low pressure deepen. Now, they only have it deepening about 4 millibars in the next 4 hours. But if we keep up that pace, which we should, then this will classify as a bomb cyclone. And one of the more impressive things here is this trough. We have a bowling ball negatively tilted trough ejection here. And this is a very classic trough ejection, a very intense, amplified classic trough ejection here. If it were April, if it were May, or even June, we would be talking about a moderate risk to a high risk for severe weather with this type of trough, because it is a extremely classic, very large bowling ball trough here. Really, really nice trough ejection across our north central states here. Instability is obviously very limited, even with it being the winter months. We are at the very tail end of December. We are still getting instability way up into Illinois. That is how strong this trough is. Even with our very low amounts of instability that we normally have in our winter months, the trough is still so strong that it's able to lift up all of this instability all the way up, back up into Illinois. Now, one thing we do want to keep an eye on is instability for today's risk. It is a limiting factor. I'm going to zoom this in so we can see a bit higher definition, just to see if there's any little areas we're missing here. And it looks like we're generally about 500 instability out here, which is pretty good. That's pretty good, honestly. That is sufficient for severe weather this time of year. You really only need about 500 instability to 1,000 instability. It is sufficient. Whereas in months like spring and summer, you're looking at closer to 1,000 to 2,000 CAPE for being your good amount of instability for a severe weather outbreak or tornado outbreak or anything like that. Do want to check wind shear. We should have a plentiful amount of wind shear. Honestly, not horrible. Not that bad of a setup. It's not the best. I can see why they went 5% because of the environment. But the fact our storms have already grown linear to clustered kind of makes me a bit skeptical of that. And our dew points are performing as expected, but our temps are actually a little bit lower. So that would result in a lower temperature dew point spread, meaning that your storms are more likely to be surface-based. However, lapse rates, I have a good feeling our lower level lapse rates are about to be absolutely atrocious. Yep, about 5 to 5.5. So that's why these storms are going to be struggling to intensify for the next couple of hours. And I really don't expect much more than an isolated storm or two to produce a very weak, brief tornado. Haley, glad to see you back in here. Yes, I did see your community, your comment on my community post. Glad to have you back in here. It's been a while. It's been like 2 years. I'm pretty sure it's been like 1.5 years, 2 years since you've been able to chat. So glad to have you back in here. You're one of the OG members of the channel. So glad to see you back in the chat. Hopefully everything's been well with you. Am I crazy? Okay. Yes, I'm just crazy. V, did you change your name? I swear that's V. I swear that's V. Easter V, I swear that's you. I swear that is V. Unless I'm just absolutely losing my mind over here, which it wouldn't surprise me because I haven't been live for so long. It's me? Alright, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Man, why do people gotta change their usernames? At least you kept your profile picture. I've had a lot of viewers switch their name and their profile picture, and then a year later, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm so-and-so from 1.5 years ago, if you didn't know. I'm like, oh, that's where he went. Literally changed the profile picture and your name. Hello, Sam. Glad to see you in here. Yeah, so overall, not a horrible setup, but I'm very skeptical about our lapse rates being a very big issue for today, and I think that will be what holds today's event back from being a really good tornado threat. Now, something that we obviously look for with severe weather is winds being backed, and that's winds out of the west to southwest. And you can see that's really good here. We've got plenty of backing thanks to our cold front. You could see a very large organizing. At the moment, it's not the best low pressure. It is an organizing low pressure here. And you can see your cold front generally drapes back down in here. Might be a little bit too far east on that cold front. It should be about another 10 miles west there. And you can see you have these winds being backed out of the southwest. And southwesterly winds are... let me think here. It's been a hot minute. I'm trying to think the best type of winds. I want to say it is southeasterly winds that are the best for severe weather. Yeah, I think it is actually southerly winds. It really anywhere from the south direction, southwest, south, southeast, any of those are going to be good. Really, any of those wind speeds are going to be good. I'm just trying to think of how our low pressures work and how I was tracking severe weather earlier this year. But really, anywhere from southwest to southeast is going to be good for severe weather, and that's winds being backed. What you don't want to see is winds coming out of like the northwest and you have a severe threat. That would be very weird. That's typically with like a ridge riding setup, like with derechos. But for an event like today, where we have a good organizing low pressure, obviously like this, you're going to get those southwesterly winds, and they're pretty strong. They're pretty strong winds. Let's go to our wind shear here. Yeah, you can see our surface to 3 kilometer bulk shear is really good across the entire area, and that's because of how intense this trough is. So I think southwesterly winds are some of the better winds for tornadoes because that is where you have the most ascent. You have this divergence aloft, and that creates, when you get a low pressure to get going, like our surface low back here, that creates your backed southwesterly winds or southerly winds. I know for a fact it's definitely southwest, south, or southeasterly winds. Any of those, because that's where winds are backed. It's been a hot minute. It has been a hot minute since we've tracked severe weather. We had that crappy 5% like 10 days ago that had a tornado watch and produced like one tornado, but outside of that, it's been like 4 months since we've had a semi-decent setup for severe weather. And yeah, this low pressure is deepening pretty quickly here. This is generally your surface wind speeds and your pressure. And you can see your central millibar is right about in there, but you can see how these winds are going southwest and then they're turning. So it's not an extremely tight surface low just yet. It is a closed low though, but it's not a very tight low pressure like what it will be tonight. This thing is going to be a very confined, extremely tight and intense low pressure. So intense that the low pressure itself could cause wind gusts upwards of 70 miles per hour along the lake effect areas in western Michigan. And even going into northwestern Pennsylvania, northern Ohio, and western New York tomorrow morning. Yeah, so just a very kinematic driven event today. A little bit of thermodynamics mixed with a whole lot of kinematics. And this is really what I expect today to be. I expect these storms to be a bit of a messy cluster mode here. We don't have any more severes, thankfully. And I just think we'll be kind of a little bit of a mess for today's event. What's the weather going to be like for Bloomington, Indiana tonight, TRG? Let me see. Bloomington should be in here. Hi, yep, there you go. I got to get memorizing my cities again. So Bloomington, Indiana. I know for sure it's going to be the chance for severe weather. Yeah, it would be definitely a chance for some isolated wind gusts up to about 50, 60 miles per hour. Right around 6 o'clock Eastern, so about 3 or so hours from now. 3 to 4 hours from now, just after dark. And I'd expect it to really just be some heavy rain and a bit of gusty winds. Obviously, you're in the risk for tornadoes, so we can't rule out the tornado risk, but the chance of you getting a tornado is still very low. I think you're in that 2% tornado risk, so we can't rule out a tornado, but it's nothing to worry about. Just know where your safe spot is and pay attention to the weather, and you'll be fine. It's nothing to be very concerned about. Just gusty winds, heavy rain, and keep an eye out, and just make sure you're aware that you have a risk for tornadoes, even though that risk is, again, very, very low. I will go into the winter side of things, yes, but not on mesoanalysis because I haven't gotten that far into meteorology. I know that there is stuff to do with, like, where is the yeah, somewhere in here. I forgot where it is. But I know there's, you can, like, spot out where the heaviest bands of snow will be from mesoanalysis. I haven't gotten that deep into meteorology yet. I'm into the tornadoes. That's what I'm into. That's what I study. Yeah, here you go. It's this stuff right in here, the winter side of things. Ah, there's precipitation type. So at least you can see if it's snow or rain. Yeah, but honestly, I probably won't bother with that for a long time. I'm not big on that. But I will go ahead and dive on into like how much snow people can see. Let's go pull up this horrible site called Radar Omega, which still has so many bugs with it on my computer. I don't know if it's just like with me or if it's an app-wide type of thing here. But here is the official snow totals projected by the National Weather Service here for the next couple of hours. We'll go out till, let's see, it's today 28th. Yeah, so we'll go till the morning. We'll go to the evening hours of tomorrow. This is till about, give or take, 2 p.m. tomorrow. And that's a pretty hefty amount of snowfall. Right about a foot of snowfall east of Minneapolis. Right about 9 inches of snow over Minneapolis. Not 60. Yeah, about 8 or 9 inches of snow right over Minneapolis. Glad to see you in here, Mr. Tanks. And Pete, welcome to the stream as well. So, yeah, just pretty good amount of snowfall. Not enough to where it's going to be like historic, but a good amount to where it's going to disrupt your daily life for sure. Especially if you are out here in between Minneapolis and going back towards Medford in Wisconsin. That area is getting a lot of snowfall, anywhere between 8 inches to a foot of snow. And then the worst of it will be back up here in our lake effect areas where we could see up to 2.5 feet. This has 26 inches of snow as the expected snow totals here for the next 24 hours or so. So they're saying right about maybe a little bit over 2 feet of snow being the high end across these areas in Michigan. And then, of course, we also have this region here. This is going to be something to really watch. I want to go ahead and switch you guys over to, actually, I'll switch that in a minute. We'll talk more about this area in northern Michigan. I really want to show you guys something with that. And then as we go into the lake effect areas back out here in Pennsylvania, New York, and Ohio, really anywhere between 4 to 6 inches of snow seems reasonable. And then just some scattered amounts, anywhere between 2 to 6 inches of snow across these areas. Nothing that will be too disruptful. I mean, gracious, like Buffalo, you're used to getting about 2 feet of snow in the matter of like 5 days. So 5 inches is going to be like nothing for you guys with this event. It's really not going to be anything notable or noteworthy. But yeah, I do want to go to College of DuPage on the HRRR run. And I want to show you how quickly this low pressure deepens here. It deepens very, very rapidly. So right about now, you can see how our low pressure, it's generally right in here. Barely on the screen, bottom middle of your screen. Draw an arrow to it. Right there. That's where your low pressure is generally at. And you can see how it's a little bit squiggly here. So, you know, it's not the strongest low pressure. It's not the deepest low, but it is strengthening. And if we continue on with this, you could see how it really doesn't get towards its really strong 990 millibar till about tomorrow morning, very, very late tonight. And that's when it rapidly begins to deepen. We go from about 994 millibars here at about 7 p.m. tonight, all the way down to 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And we are down to 975. So that's about a give or take 15 or so millibar drop. Actually, yeah, 15 to 20 millibar drop there. And you can see this gets extremely intense and extremely closed low pressure. Very, very strong low pressure. Very, very strong. Gracious. And look behind this. You see how these are very close to each other right in here? That is another sign for your system being very strong. It's just your contours being really close to each other. And then, of course, once you get closer to that low pressure, obviously they're going to eventually stop right when you get to that low pressure. And just the closer they are, the stronger your low is. The closer they are and the lower number they are. And this essentially is going to lead to... I'm really surprised we don't have blizzard warnings out in this area. Really blizzard conditions here. We're looking at consistent wind gusts of 40 to 60 miles per hour across the entire state of Michigan. And some of these wind gusts across the lake effect areas could be as high as 60 to 70 miles per hour in these regions. And the worst of it is going to be snow squalls. So it's not I guess it wouldn't per se be a blizzard, but it's going to be these snow squalls here. And these snow squalls, you can see the deeper DBZ values right in here. They are going to be absolutely blinding snow squalls. And we're going to have, I don't know, a random guess, maybe 50 of them. Maybe like 50 of them going across the entire state of Michigan, much of northern Indiana, into Ohio, into Ontario, and even back out here, even into New York and Pennsylvania. I mean, these snow squalls, my word, they're going even up here into New York, Vermont, even into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. Those snow squalls are still continuing even well into tomorrow evening. And so that's going to create kind of like localized blizzard conditions here. So I'm really surprised. I wonder, maybe they have like high wind watches out or just special weather statements out for that stuff. I don't know if it's quite blizzard conditions because we're not looking at a high amount of snowfall with these. We're looking at just absolute blinding conditions with pretty high-end wind gusts. And I think let's see. Can the NAM show this as well? No, the HRRR really just does a great job portraying how strong these snow squalls will be. They're not going to drop a lot of snow. Many areas that see these snow squalls won't see much more than 4 inches of snowfall or right around there. But they're going to be very heavy. We're talking about 4 inches, 3-4 inches of snow per hour in these areas that end up with these snow squalls. So they're going to be very, very heavy snow squalls, but very quick snow squalls. And they're really going to be focused. You can kind of see like where this tilt is on our contours right in there. That's where they're going to be focused at. Right as that low pressure's deepening, right as those winds come in behind it. Right as your winds turn from the southerly winds to the northwesterly winds. At least it should. Let's see if we can go to... What can I go to look at the winds? I've forgotten. It's been so long. Yeah, there you go. There's your instability, which obviously we'll have none of it tomorrow morning. But you can see where those winds turn from southerly and westerly winds back to northwesterly winds. And that's because of your cold front and your low pressure continuing off to the east. And just how rapid this thing is deepening. And again, those snow squalls are going to go even well into Pennsylvania, well into New York. And I would keep an eye out if we have anyone watching from near my neck of the woods out here in Virginia and North Carolina. Often these snow squalls can sneak over the Appalachians. We had that earlier this year in January. We had all of our model runs were saying no snow for us, but we ended up getting snow squalls that sneak through, and those can deliver very quick hitting, blinding snowfall. So I wouldn't trust the HRRR in this sense. We'll definitely going to need to keep an eye on that, especially when you have a consistent flow of lake effect like that. That can really help get over the Appalachians there. And even if we don't see snow in my neck of the woods, we are talking about a very horrifically cold Tuesday morning. I mean, everybody behind this cold front, my word. Let's go to the NAM, actually, and see how far back this goes. The whole U.S. I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't see that. The whole U.S. is going to be freezing. With the exception of the Gulf coastline and the western coastline of the U.S. Man, I didn't know it was that bad. Gracious day. It's the great cold front all over again. Holy crap. I mean, I guess that's what this intense of a trough does. It makes sense. I mean, we're talking about a jet stream upwards of 110 knots, 140 knots. Wow. Yeah, I'm really surprised that we don't have any type of, I'm going to go check the National Weather Service real quick. Instead of looking at weather-wise, because I might have it disabled, I'm going to go look at here. Okay, they do. They do. They have high wind warnings are in effect. Okay, they do. What the heck? Red flag warnings in North Carolina. Wow. So these winds are going to be so strong from this low pressure. We're going to be like right in the middle of it, right at this gap. As one of our cold fronts are leaving. We'll have two cold fronts here. You'll have a kind of a cold front back out in here and a cold front that's in front. This is the cold front giving us our severe weather in Illinois. And then this is our cold front that's delivering our blast of cold air. So you'll kind of have two different cold fronts here. And you can actually see that. You could see that because you have this area where our temperatures drop very drastically. And then you also have where your winds turn from southerly winds to westerly winds. So you do have a weak cold front on the black line I just drew. And then our strong cold front that's going to deliver us some rain in my neck of the woods. And what's delivering our severe weather in Illinois just out in front of that. And in between that, you're going to have a risk for some fires because it's going to be very, very dry. This is your dew points, and you can see it's very dry. So it's not cold yet because our second cold front hasn't come through, but it's going to be windy because our first cold front has already come through. So we're going to get some pretty good risk for some fires tomorrow, specifically out there in the Piedmont Triad in North Carolina. So don't burn anything if you're out there for tomorrow. But that cold front, very impressive. Very, very impressive cold front. I want to see if the WPC has two cold fronts. That secondary cold front might be so weak that the WPC doesn't even have it on there. Let's see here. Yeah, they just show the one primary cold front because that's the strongest one. But we're essentially going to have two cold fronts. You can really look at it as two cold fronts. One weak one and one strong one. And that strong one's going to pass through first. But man, we're talking about a very windy day, that's for sure, across much of the eastern U.S. If I just zoom out here. Just look at how tight those contours are there. These black lines. They are extremely tight. Across really the gracious day, I might as well circle the whole U.S. This entire area. Really, this entire area. They're very close together. See how when you go... Actually, I could just go out into the future here. So going into like Tuesday night, see how spread out these contours are? They're very, very spread out from each other. Obviously, that's normal. But when you have something that's this close to each other... I mean, you're talking, this is a very powerful system. This is a very powerful and impressive system. It's not something that we see very often. I'd say we see it at most 2 times a year, 2 times every winter, I should say. We'll see a low pressure this strong. Because those are, I mean, you are dropping quick. Look how fast your millibars drop. You're at 1,030 millibar back out here in Missouri. 1,028, 1,025, 1,015, 1,010, 999, 990, 979, and then finally where it's the strongest, right about 976, 975. So I'm really impressed by that. That is very impressive. Yeah, and you can see the temperatures are also really hot in front of it. We're running about 30 degrees Fahrenheit above average out here in Ohio, and then watch as the cold front comes through. Not but about 12 hours later, now you're running about 10 degrees below average. Just crazy how these low pressures work, man. It's so fascinating. It's so fascinating, especially one to this degree. It's so intense. They're so intense. They have such forcing behind them. I mean, look at that jet stream, dude. Not very common you get a jet stream like that in the U.S. at any given time of the year. 141 knot jet stream, not common at all. I feel like this is the first time I've seen it since January earlier this year. I'm pretty sure that's going to create a lot of problems for air traffic, too. I'm pretty confident on that. And then it wouldn't surprise me if that helps air traffic that's going across from, like, the U.S. going towards the U.K. because the jet stream's going to be so strong, they're going to be going a lot quicker. But definitely going to have to watch out if you have any type of traveling plans for tonight into tomorrow. Definitely want to watch out. Thankfully, this isn't coming by on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, so many of us probably aren't traveling too much. And then New Year's Eve looking pretty good, honestly. We're looking pretty good. We're going to have that huge system exiting the U.S. a high pressure building over the southern U.S., and then another big system entering the U.S. So we're going to be in that phase of a little bit of inactivity for 2 or 3 days. Starting Tuesday, won't be much of activity Tuesday, not much Wednesday, which is New Year's Eve, and then New Year's Day will probably be a little bit inactive too as that atmospheric river hits California, and then we should pick up. Let's see if we get anything here. It looks like our atmospheric river doesn't really push that energy into the U.S. You could see a bit of a blob of it left over there in the southeastern U.S. from the low pressure, but it really doesn't do anything. And then this is a signal to watch. I know we are over 200 hours out, but January 6th through the 10th, early January is always a good time for snowstorms. Every single year we watch January, early to mid-January, all the time. We watch that time frame. It seems to always be the best chance for a big snowstorm in a given year, at least from what I've seen. And I think that'll be the same case this year too, or I guess next year, 2026. So that's a pretty big signal there. I don't want to talk about specifics with it, but just know that it is uptrending, and I would be watching that very closely. If you're anywhere east of the Rockies, paying attention to the January 6th through 10th time frame there, right about there, for maybe 1 or 2 systems to be entering the U.S. We're going to get into an active pattern. I don't know if we're going to see that, okay? That would be insane. Is this another... It's another blue streak over here for our jet stream. I highly doubt we'll see something like that going into the middle of January. I highly, highly doubt that. But we are going to be entering a more active period going into the middle of January. And who knows when that will stop. Honestly, that probably is going to continue through much of January. We got that big stretch of inactivity out of the way. We had like 2 weeks where we had absolutely nothing happening in the U.S. And we got that out in the middle, and in the beginning and the middle portion of December, we got that out of the way. And so now we're picking back up again. What does the CPC say? Not what I was expecting. They have above average over much of the U.S. with the exception of the eastern U.S. Strange. I don't know if I agree with that. Let's see. Yeah, for the January 5th through the 11th time frame, so that's right in here. Yeah, our jet stream's staying pretty far. Our jet stream's pretty far south, but the problem is our freezing line is pretty far north. So that's not a good setup for snow in the central U.S. That's a good setup for snowfall in like these areas up in here. So, yeah, I think this is going to be our biggest system, though. The one we're dealing with today into early tomorrow morning, I think is going to be one of the biggest systems. Well, I think it is the biggest system of December, actually. I'm pretty confident it's the biggest system of December. And it's probably going to be one of the bigger systems of this winter. And then we should get another chance for another big snowstorm, either in January or February for another snowstorm like this. I doubt we'll have one that will be a bomb cyclone like this, where it deepens 20 to 24 millibars in 24 hours. But we should get another chance for a good snowstorm. A good blizzard. I mean, I think this is our 3rd blizzard so far. Pretty sure this is our 3rd blizzard of the year. And nothing really impressive out here. We've got a little bit of some contamination there with a suspicious looking cluster near Pawnee in central Illinois. Just some downbursts here, upwards of 60 mile an hour winds. A little surprised this isn't severe warned, actually, because that's quite a few downbursts. You could see these little pockets. These little pockets of blues in here. Quite a few of them of 40 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts there all along that line. That's going into Lincoln, Illinois over the next 15 to 30 minutes here. And then north of that, going towards Hopedale, not really anything interesting here. 30-mile-an-hour winds tops along that line. So, yeah, want to keep an eye on that little area, that little cluster of Pawnee. And then these downbursts here approaching the Lincoln Metro. Kearney, Missouri, I don't think you're going to get much snow at all. I think you'll get some flakes, but I doubt it's going to accumulate. Yeah, you'll probably get to see some snow tonight, right around sunset, and then that's about it. The thing I'm most interested with this system by a mile and a half, by a long shot, is the snow squalls. I'm really interested in that because, like, look at that. This is Tuesday morning. The snow squalls with this should be insane since you have such an intense low pressure. I don't really feel like there's two cold fronts here. I'm just saying that kind of to make it easier with you, but just know that there's really just one cold front. This is your main cold front right in here. Right in here is your main cold front. You could tell that because of those contours there in the wind direction. And then your main cold is a little bit behind that. So there's really just one primary cold front, though. There's really one primary cold front, but it's going to feel like two. It's going to feel like two because you get one big cold front, your main one sweeps through, and that creates a very, very windy day across wherever it tracks, which will be much of the central and eastern U.S. over the next 24 hours. And then that secondary feel-like cold front is going to come through, which you can see it. Yeah, you could see it right in there. And that's what's going to bring your blast of brutal cold air as well as your snow squalls. Let me check again. Yeah, very clearly, there's no definitive cold front in here. It's going to feel like a cold front, but it won't be a cold front. Your cold front is where your winds are changing from that westerly winds to those southerly winds. You could see it's right in there. Generally right where I drew that black line at. And then I lost it right there. It's kind of like right in there. I'm losing where it's going. It's where those winds change from west to south. Pretty close. It goes back up into Canada. But yeah, I'm really interested in these snow squalls, y'all. These could be very dangerous. So be very careful if you're driving anywhere in this. Let's see. Let's switch, y'all. I'm going to switch over to Weatherwise. I think Weatherwise can really help here with our model data. Models. 18Z. 13. We're going to switch that to 0. We're going to change to precipitation type should be up here. Yep. And we're going to pull this out. Yeah, I mean, look at that. We are talking about wherever you see the darker DBZ at. I mean, we're talking about a ginormous area of very intense snow squalls here with wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. And that would probably go even down into Kentucky. Just an extremely intense snow squall event. This looks awesome, by the way. Weatherwise did really good with their precipitation type. Except for, I'm throwing a shot at Weatherwise first time in a while. I don't like how their mixed precipitation is purple. Because that's the normal color for winter weather advisories. So their mixed precipitation blends in extremely well with winter weather advisories. But outside of that, I love the precipitation type that they have. And I mean, oh my word, this even continues into, we are into Tuesday too. Look at that. Even into Tuesday, we are talking about some very serious snow squalls. Wow. And then a clipper system coming down from Canada right there behind all this going into Wisconsin. Going into Tuesday. I don't like their snowfall color table, but yeah, somebody's definitely going to get an overperforming snowfall event out of this. For sure. Out of all these snow squalls, somebody's going to get either, depending on if they hate or like snow, very lucky or unlucky. And you could just see the intense swirl around this low pressure here. Watch how, as I loop this, it's in a very aggressive swirl right in this area here. As that low pressure deepens very rapidly right over Michigan. And you can kind of see how it's like there's no snow squalls in here because our low pressure is not deepened like at all. And then after it deepens, this is a perfect snow squall event, y'all. Your low pressure rapidly deepens over Michigan. It goes over the lakes, gets into Canada, and behind it, obviously, is all the wind because it's such a strong bomb cyclone. So all the inflow behind it is obviously going to be traveling over those lakes. You're going to have very cold temperatures traveling on top of those warm lakes. That creates moisture, and that's going to create your snow squalls. And again, I doubt the Appalachians will be able to stop this. I highly doubt it. I would not be shocked at all if we get a couple of snow squalls that sneak into North Carolina and Virginia into tomorrow afternoon. So very, very dangerous. Please be very careful traveling tomorrow. It's probably best to stay home if you're able to, if you live anywhere in this region here. Because these snow squalls are going to be very, very dangerous. And again, like I said, those are probably going to sneak into Virginia too. But we're talking about very dangerous snow squalls. Now, I know a lot of you guys aren't able to stay home. And, you know, obviously if you work, you're not going to be able to. But just be very, very careful if you do have to go out and drive tomorrow. And it's an all-day event. Now, it starts back up here in Michigan at about 8 a.m. That's where your snow squalls are. They're behind the cold front, or rather the fake cold front. Again, your main cold front is back out over here. Your fake cold front with the temperatures are back over here. And you can see how that keeps pushing through. So this is 11 a.m. and that's when it gets towards western Ohio, northern Ohio. And then getting into 3 p.m., that is when it starts to approach western New York, western Pennsylvania, about 3 p.m., just before supper time, dinner time there. And right about dinner time in the evening hours, that's when it's getting on top of the Appalachians, about 5, 6 p.m. tomorrow. And then eventually it's going to be off the coastline here. And it's just going to be over the entire portions of all the way from Michigan back towards Massachusetts. And so it's just going to keep on going all the rest of the night, tomorrow night, all the way into Wednesday morning too. I'm curious if the NAM3K has this continuing even further than this. Yeah, so those snow squalls continue probably all the way until we get this next big clipper system to pull in here. And I do want to see what type of snowfall totals we're talking with that. Now, the GFS doesn't have that. Does the Euro have it? Big time uncertainty on that next big or small clipper system. NAM3K is very aggressive, whereas the Euro and the GFS are like, no, nothing's even coming behind this. What are you talking about? Very impressive system. I'm very, very impressed with this system. If that's not obvious enough, because I've been a huge nerd with it. Severe weather near Detroit. I don't think you're going to see much out there. We did actually get a severe thunderstorm warning for Lincoln, so really good job by the National Weather Service there. Remember earlier we were pointing out those downbursts approaching the Lincoln Metro. And they did end up severe warning that 60-mile-an-hour winds as well as a tour possible tag. And I think they have a little hail with it. Yeah, 0.75-inch hail. But in my opinion, the severe weather is the least impressive portion of this system. That's why it's been the least talked about on this stream. And then also the probably most overlooked part of this whole entire event, this whole entire system, bomb cyclone here, is the ice storm that we are going to be dealing with overnight tonight. Hold on, the new HRRR came in. I kind of want to go see that. Yeah, slop fest. That's what I'm thinking. Don't get me wrong. Definitely a chance for a brief tornado or two, but this ain't like the 2025 and 2024 tornado season 5% tours that we see. This is the sloppier 5% tours that you normally get in winter. So it's not like our tornado season this year where a 5% tour was like, we're talking tornado outbreak and a strong tornado event. This is actually like a proper 5% tornado risk where we could see 2, maybe a little bit more brief tornadoes than that. Barely low end 5% risk. Low end 5% risk worthy. But yeah, let's go back over to the New England states because, again, that's being overlooked as the ice storm, which is starting right now in Pennsylvania and going into New York and is going to get really, really bad as we go into the overnight hours tonight. This is just after, actually, I think this is midnight. Actually, I think this is midnight. This is midnight Eastern tonight. And we're talking about a very widespread, dangerous ice storm. I think the worst will be over Vermont and New Hampshire. And then you can see it continues all the way into Monday morning. And thankfully, some of these areas will get rain, which is also going to help wash away that ice. But black ice will be a big problem going into Tuesday morning because all that rain and any ice that is fallen and is left over will for sure freeze Tuesday morning, as many of you guys that see ice are going to be into the 20s, if not down near the negatives, near 0 degrees out there in New York and Vermont. And looking at that ice accumulation, like I said earlier in the stream, we're talking about some isolated areas here in the yellow, upwards of 1 inch of ice. That is a extreme amount of ice, which is why we're at that level 5 out of 5 extreme risk because of that ice event that's going to happen tonight into tomorrow morning across New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire. Even 1/10 of an inch of ice is enough for disruptions, and then 1/4 inch of an ice is enough for significant disruptions, and then 1/2 inch of ice is when you start talking about, structural failures of your infrastructure and very widespread power outages. So really anywhere in that pink, which is 1/10 of an inch of ice or greater, that's where we're talking about some problems, and you could just see how widespread that pink area is here. A huge chunk of the northeastern U.S. and even back out there into a large chunk of Ontario too. I don't know how popular or how populated that portion of Ontario is, but some ice definitely possible back out there too. So that's probably the most overlooked portion of this storm is the ice storm. I mean, we're talking about very heavy freezing rain too. 35 dBz of heavy freezing rain right there. That is indeed impressive. Another tour possible severe. These are just tiny little areas of rotation that honestly are barely worth a tour possible severe. I mean, on like the edge of tour possible, honestly could easily get away with not doing tour possible on these. But with the high amount of wind shear we do have today, we could see some sneaky QLCS tornadoes, and that's why they're being safe here and issuing those tour possible severes. I will say instability has overperformed, so the background environment is not bad. The only thing that's bad is a big crucial thing called lapse rates. That's going to be what hurts today's event. And also the orientation of your dry line, or not your dry line, your dew points / your cold front seems to have changed last minute too. So for a really good risk for QLCS tornadoes is a north to south orientated dry line or cold front. And we're not looking at that right here. We're really not looking at that according to our precipitation type. Now, once these move into the 5% tornado risk, they will be more north to south. You can see a little bit of this is north to south here. There is embedded areas where your line is northeast to southwest, and then it goes more north to south, and then back to northeast to southwest. Let me see if I can show you that on Weatherwise. Show you as we progress with time how we could get a little bit better favorability for QLCS tornadoes here. Let me get rid of all that extra DBZ we don't want to see here. All right, so right off the bat, this is the new HRRR, and it's dead wrong. We're not seeing this. This is definitely not how the radar looks right now. I mean, it's not atrociously wrong, but it's definitely not how the radar looks like right now. And you can see as we go towards about 6 o'clock, you could see how we might just get a little bit more of that north to south orientation here, but it's still orientated pretty well on that northeast to southwest side, especially as you go back into southern Illinois, my word. So that tornado threat is definitely going to be probably peaking back up in here. I wouldn't rule out a spin-up tornado with these guys if we can get those to be a bit discreet, but your main risk is going to be with that little area where it's the best chance to be north to south orientated. If we can look at our dew points here. Yeah, even that, it's not perfect, but it's not horrible. Like this back here is horrible. That's horrible. That's almost due northeast to southwest right there. And you can kind of see like right in here is where it starts to fold back to that north to south. So that's better. And that's why we have our 5% tornado risk if you take a look at that. That's why it's right up in this area. That doesn't extend any further south because this is where we have our best chance of a more favorable orientated line as well as a little bit better ingredients. Lucky texted me. Okay, I do agree more with this Tour Possible Severe. This is the one we were checking a couple minutes ago. But still very sloppy and very disorganized, but could get a brief spin-up tornado out of it. So that's an area to watch. Our downbursts are an area to watch. And then the weirder severe that I'm very iffy on. Also want to keep an eye on just in case. Oh, my bad. Our velocity's a little bit behind now. So now everything's big time. Big time messed up. Big time messed up. Yeah, so like I said, just be weather aware and you'll be fine. It's not a big day. It's not a big day. We're not talking about a tornado outbreak. We're not talking about strong tornadoes. We're talking about isolated 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, isolated 1-inch hail, and there's a few people who are probably going to be unlucky and have a tornado warning where we have the chance to see a spin-up brief tornado or two. That 5% tornado risk, like I said, we're dealing with a very low-end 5%. That's why in this live stream, again, we really stayed on topic with the winter weather, because that's really what's going to end up being the main name of the game here. Whew. What a trough. What a trough. My goodness. Look at this. Look at this lower level jet, man. We would be... if we had this in like March or April, because that is a insane trough right there. Thankfully, it's not crazily negatively tilted there. At least on the lower level jet. Really, you want to go by the 500 millibar here, which... big time shortwaves there. Yeah, you could see that jet maximum in the kind of purplish there over St. Louis. That's where one of your short waves are. And it's not a normal trough. It's a bowling ball type of trough, which typically have a significant more amount of short waves. 45-60% torr. Now, see, it would have to depend greatly on the other ingredients. I couldn't tell you that unless this was actually a trough in March or April or May. But this type of trough would have the possibility of a 45% torr if everything else aligned. That's going to be a tornado warning for our storm down here in just north of Taylorville. So they deemed that worthy of a tornado warning. Interesting, interesting. So I imagine we're going to get a tornado watch here. Yep, there's a tornado watch. 20 seconds ago. Oh, wow, that damaging wind wording is pretty high end, honestly. 75-mile-an-hour wind gust likely. Interesting. That's definitely 15 hatched wind or possibly even 30 hatched wind right there. 75-mile-an-hour wind gust likely. What's the prob on that? I feel like that's overdoing it. I feel like the probability is lower than the wording that is put on the watch. Let's see. Let's go to our watches. Yeah, 60-30 wind. That wording for the wind is a little bit higher than the actual probability. I'm surprised it says 75-mile-an-hour winds likely. So we're looking at tornado or two likely. Strong tornado can't be completely ruled out. 60-65-mile-an-hour winds likely, with gusts as high as 80 miles per hour possible. And then 1/2 inch to 1 inch hail possible. Yeah, so Tornado Watch just got issued. Let's get rid of that outlook so you can see. There you go. Gracious, why does that go so far south? What? Yeah, the probs I said was for the Tornado Watch you're in now. Why does that go so far south? Okay. Much larger watch there. That's probably why the probability for the wind threat is a little bit higher, because our Tornado Watch is substantially larger than the mesoscale discussion that was issued for it. Yeah, so this stuff here, just make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows, and close to your safe spot if you're in these severes. The main threat will be 1/2 inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. But if we do get a tornado, it will likely spin up very quickly and be very weak and brief, to the point where there probably won't be much of a warning with it. So you want to be very close to your safe spot. And if it gets bad, I recommend going to your safe spot. So be very close to your safe spot or in your safe spot if you are in these severes, because if we do get a tornado, again, it's likely going to be very, very weak, pretty brief, and little warning with it. Not not particularly the strongest rotation I have seen for a tornado warning. I'll just say that. But again, you got to really consider that it doesn't take a strong amount of rotation to produce a weak tornado. We have seen tornadoes with the absolute tiniest and some of the weakest couplets, especially when you're pretty far from the radar. Definitely not that great, but honestly, I ain't gonna lie, the supercell doesn't look horrible. I could pick out a supercell in here. I could pick out a May type supercell in here. Only problem is velocity doesn't exactly correlate with that. And then, yeah, Clinton out here in Illinois, just watch out for these downbursts. Definitely could have 60-mile-an-hour winds with these little downbursts here going towards Clinton, up towards Hayworth. And this line easily, anywhere in this line, 30 to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts in here. Which, again, is just why you want to be indoors, away from doors and windows, and close to your safe spot, just in case it gets a bit too rough. I highly doubt it, V. Obviously, it's a great idea to be weather aware, especially since you're in that tornado watch now. And the timing for it is right about 7 o'clock Eastern, or Central, rather. 7 Central, 8 Eastern. So probably like an hour or so after sunset. Let's see here. But even on higher end days, which this is definitely not, the chance of a tornado in your area, in your city, and especially down your street, you know, right over your house, it's really slim to none. It's very, very low, even on like a moderate risk day. So the chance of a tornado actually hitting you, even on a 2% day or a 5% day, it's so slim. Tornadoes are not typically that big. And I would not expect anything big tornado-wise out of this event. Like I said, we're talking about brief, weak tornadoes. So brief and so weak that really our biggest concern is the fact that they don't get tornado warned because our radar doesn't pick it up in time, or they just spin up way too quick. So that today's the type of day where you don't really, you don't want to mess around with those severe thunderstorm warnings, because you can easily end up with a quick spin up tornado within those severe warnings. So if you're in a severe warning, at least be away from doors and windows and stay close to your safe spot. When are you going to make your 2026 tornado season predictions? Probably not till February. Typically the end of February is when I make that. And my early prediction was it was going to be near above average or close to above average, but now I have no idea. A lot of newer data points towards a more inactive season. which I would expect next year is going to be a lot more inactive than this year, honestly. This year has set the bar for years for tornadoes, really. Like this year was like another 2013 type of year. 2013, 2016, 2011. This year was like all those. 2018. 2018 repeat. Never know. Where do you get the data from? It's climatology and different phases that we're in. And comparing past events and past years to the data that we're currently at. This year was like 2018. I don't know how active 2018 was, but honestly, this year was on a league of its own. This year was probably better than 2016, 2018, and 2013. Or right with them. Because you got to think about all the types of different tornadoes we had and how crazy they were. Now, thankfully, we didn't have any catastrophes like April 27th, 2011. But unfortunately, we definitely had some big-time tornado events that took lives. So I hope next year will be in a league of its own, as in inactivity. Inactivity. A year that hopefully nobody will remember for tornadoes. Yeah, I haven't done enough research on our newer data to tell you what this upcoming year is going to be like. I'll have to go try to find an analog for it all. Last year, we did very well. Honestly, I did very, very well last year with my tornado season forecast. I was very shocked at how well it did. Let's see. South of Bloomington? That? If you're talking about that, I can kind of see what you mean there. But I highly doubt we'd be having that intense of a correlation coefficient. There's a very high chance that's corruption. Funnel on it. Is that on the tornado warning? That rotation's very weak, but again, weak rotation produces tornadoes often. You ain't got to have a 200 mile an hour gate to gate couplet to get a tornado. Especially with a day like this, your tornadoes are typically going to be much weaker and more undetected. Gracious. Those beeps jump scare me, honestly. I'm not used to them. I'm not used to them at all. I'm not used to them. It's been like 4 months since I've heard them. We're normally not live for tornado warnings. At least this time of year. This is our first, like, okay second season event, and it's probably going to be our only one. Second season has done nothing. Second season is a fake season. It's not real. It's fake. It's like you can sometimes get one crazy event in second season, but it's not a second season. Because if you think to normal tornado season, we get plenty of enhanced risks and a few moderate risks and even possible one or two high risks. And then in quote second season, we get a few marginals, a handful of slights, and maybe one or two enhanced risks. I do remember the moderate on this day last year. Yes. I recognize the date. I recognized it when I woke up. I was like, December 12th. December 12th. No, December 28th. What does this day mean? I forgot exactly what risk it was. But it just looked super familiar. Yeah, December 12th. Yeah, that day's familiar too. But yeah, I think December 28th was the risk that almost went high risk in Mississippi, I want to say. Which that thing popped off, man. We had tornado warnings half the size of Mississippi. Stretched from north of Jacksonville all the way down to the coastline. $315.25 was crazy. Actually, $314.25 was crazy. 314 was one of the biggest outbreaks of the century. Right there alongside with some statistics from April 27th, 2011, minus the EF5s. And definitely right there with March 31st, 2023. I think, of course, of the century so far, the century's only a quarter of the way done. But I think this March 14th, 2025 was the biggest outbreak of the decade so far. And I think it was probably a top 5 for one of the biggest outbreaks of the century. I would probably put it at like 3rd, maybe even 2nd. Obviously, number 1's April 27th, 2011. I would be shocked if we can ever top that. That would blow me away. Hopefully, we never top that. I really hope that day never comes. But yeah, I mean, March 14th. You don't think it was that crazy, honestly. Some of us may not remember it as well, but like I went back to it a couple days ago. I'm like, dude, this thing was literally like the biggest outbreak I've ever tracked on this channel. Like ever since I started tracking things for almost 5 years ago. Actually, almost 6 years ago. I wonder where it ranks. No, I don't want to do the biggest outbreaks from 1880. Let's see here. Gracious, another tornado warning. March 13th through 16th. Oof. Absolutely crazy. And that was also had a bunch of violent tornadoes too. I think we had 3 EF4s, which was like the most, tied for the most EF4s in an outbreak. I don't know if that was for this year or this decade, or rather this decade or this century. I saw that statistic somewhere. It was either tied for the most violent tornadoes, probably this century, or no, decade. My bad. I can't English. This century. I keep saying century. This decade. April 27th, 2011 had way more. My goodness. Probably tied for the most violent tornadoes this decade. Last 5 years. I think, oh man, I'm gonna go look at this real quick. Was it Easter 2020? How many violent tours did that have? Three. I think it was tied with Easter in 2020 for the most violent tornadoes of the decade in a 24-hour time frame. I think that was the statistic I saw. Because I remember seeing that from maybe like a month ago or so. A month or two ago. Somebody I followed tweeted about that. Unless you guys can think of one that had 4 violent tornadoes, which I can't think of a single outbreak off the top of my head that had that many. And to think March 14th should have been the third high risk of this year, man. I mean, this year was insane. We thought last year was insane until this year came and showed us what a even crazier tornado season looks like. Hopefully this event ends it off with a bust. That would be nice. Definitely watching this tornado warning a bit closer now. Those velocities have started to uptick a little bit here. You see that green and red a little bit closer to each other now. So this could be on a strengthening trend. I think April 12th, 2020 was the biggest outbreak of the decade. I forgot what it was, but I know March 14th beat it in a specific statistic. I think I gotta go find the thread. One of my friends did a thread on it, and he showed why March 14th, 2025 was the biggest outbreak in a very long time since either 2020 or even before that. Let's see here. Okay, I found the thread, but now I gotta find what it was. Okay, so March 14th beat it in terms of significant and violent tornado intensity and mileage. As well as the fact that April 12th, 2020 was so spread out that it wasn't confined to like a general outbreak vicinity. It was such a large region that it actually decreased the outbreak intensity score. There you go. That's what it was. I gotta save this thread. Boom, saved. But yeah, still watching this tornado warning. Just make sure you're in your safe spot if you're in that tornado warning. And you will be good to go. Just stay in your safe spot. Stay in your safe spot and you'll be fine. Because if this does drop a tornado, it's going to be very, very, very weak and probably very brief. So you should be perfectly fine if you're, in your bathroom, away from all doors and windows the best you can, most interior room, or if you're in your storm shelter, you should be perfectly fine. Hello, Girl Dev. Glad to see you back in the stream. Indiana. Also, welcome back to the stream. Girl Dev, the tornado threat is honestly very low for Indiana. It's just there's going to be a few storms that we want to keep an eye on for tornado potential, and one so far has been this one for the last couple minutes here. And there's probably going to be one or two storms we want to watch in Indiana later this evening. But we're not looking at like a widespread tornado outbreak or anything. This is a very low-end day. I want to keep stressing that. It is a low-end day. It's still a day that you need to be prepared for the chance of tornadoes, but it is a low-end day. There's no reason to really stress out about this and get too worried. I know that is easier said than done. Believe me, I'll never forget the time I was in a moderate risk in 2023. I freaked out. I was losing it as a weather enthusiast. I thought that was going to be the one time I actually got a tornado over my house. I was freaking out. I was about to drive outside the moderate risk. And then it ended up being a bust for my area. Not fun. Not fun. I don't like moderate risks. I don't mess around with that stuff. That's when I stay home and make sure my family's weather aware. Now, the marginals and slight risks, yeah, I'll chase that any day, because the chance of that, there being a threat over my house is very low. But when it gets to enhanced, I get a little worried, and then moderate is when I'm like, okay, I should probably stay home. Unless the moderate is away from my house, and then you bet I'm going there. What about March 31st, 2025? March 31st was... March 31st, 2025? I faintly remember that. I feel like I was live on that day, but I feel like nothing happened or nothing really notable. Yeah, it was an enhanced risk. Yeah. Yep, it was an enhanced risk. I chased it. What? Oh my word, that... What type of risk area did they do? Yeah, that did not verify well at all. Yeah, I was chasing on that day. 2024? Are you talking about the outbreak? Because that was March 31st, 2023. If that's the one you're talking about. Yeah, that's the one you're talking about. I thought so. So that was actually a bunch of weak tornadoes. I think we only had we had one violent tornado and just a handful of strong tornadoes. It was mainly QLCS spam, which is not very good for tornado outbreak intensity. Tornado outbreak intensity is really based off of long-tracked, strong, and violent tornadoes. So if you get, like, say, an insane 150 EF1 tornadoes that all last about 5 minutes each, that's not going to be a very high score because there's not any long-tracked ones that were strong and violent. Because once you get past like a 10 sig tor risk, even a 10 significant tor risk, you're really talking about the main potential being strong tornadoes, not weak ones. Strong tornadoes are going to be the main thing you need to watch out for when you're talking about a 10 sig, 15 sig, or 30 sig tor. Or if you ever happen to see it in your lifetime, a 45 sig tor, which seems to be rarer than... I'm trying to think of something... Rarer than a snowstorm in North Carolina. Is Lucky joining us today? He went out to eat with his family. He went out to eat today. He should be back in the next 20 minutes. So if I'm not ending stream by then, yeah, I can see if he wants to join and say hi real quick. I'm pretty sure you're right. Matter of fact, I looked at March 17th, 2021 this morning. I was checking out that risk today. To try to find out why they went 45 sig, and I still couldn't find out why. Still a good area of rotation here. Watching that very, very closely. So be in your safe spot, Long Creek in central Illinois. that could produce a brief spin-up tornado here in the next few minutes. March 24th, 2023, I believe that was Rolling Fork, right? That was like one or two supercells that produced long track tornadoes, but that was it. You know, that was really the main thing. We had a few spin-up tornadoes, and then that one supercell that produced the Rolling Fork tornado and the Amory tornado. Amory, however you say it in Mississippi. My bad. I don't know which one it is. So I know that would probably have probably the same general scoring as March 31st, but March 31st was also way more widespread. March 24th, 2023. Let me go look at that risk. I swear that was Rolling Fork. March 24th. Oh, I'm in the wrong year. I'm in 2022. What an idiot. Okay, yeah, that was Rolling Fork. Yeah, if you look at the tornado report map, you have this long streak of tornadoes from Rolling Fork to north central Mississippi, and then the Amory tornado in northeast Mississippi, and then a few spin-up tornadoes there in Alabama, a few in Tennessee, and a few in... Ooh, uh-oh. That's a tornado. All right, so we now have a tornado ongoing. There's a tornado on the ground here west of Long Creek in central Illinois, so you need to run to your safe spot. This is a confirmed tornado now based off of radar. The National Weather Service does not have a confirmed warning on it, but this is a tornado because that is 100% what a debris signature looks like. As somebody who has seen over 2,000 of them, I could tell you that is exactly what a CC drop looks like. Now, this is probably a very, very weak tornado at this moment, but you can see if we go back here, you can see the pink here and the green here. So that uptick in velocities out of nowhere means that this is definitely strong enough to produce a tornado. And then obviously we have the CC drop. So I expect this will be confirmed by the National Weather Service here shortly, but it is extremely likely that that is a tornado in progress. Now, I'm not the National Weather Service, so I can't say it is, but there's a 99.99 repeating % chance that's a tornado. So please be in your safe spot if you're in Long Creek, Mount Zion in central Illinois. Be in your safe spot. Fingers crossed this will be confirmed shortly, so that way people rush to their safe spot even quicker. So very confident that that is a tornado on the ground. Just be in your safe spot here. I'm going to keep checking that warning because it should be upgraded shortly. Let's see what the next scan has. 30 seconds before we get that next scan. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm so confident that this is a tornado, it's very easy to checkbox it. You've got velocity, or rather, you have reflectivity in here. Clear area of reflectivity. By the way, this is probably rain-wrapped, too. So you have reflectivity. That means it's not corruption in the sense of clear air. You have velocity. So that is also check-marked. You have NROT, which combines both the inflow and outflow into an easy product to see. And this is an NROT close to 1, which means it's a tornado. You've got a correlation coefficient that is consistent for 2 scans. You have a spectrum width drop, which confirms that there is winds inside of that small area, hence a tornado. And then now you even have a ZDR drop, and oh my word, you've got probably a reflectivity debris ball. And there you go. This is a confirmed tornado warning. So now it is 100% a tornado on the ground. This is a tornado in progress. 100% a tornado on the ground confirmed via radar. That might be a reflectivity debris ball. If it's not, then this thing is just wrapped in very heavy rain to maybe even some small hail. This is going over a very populated area, so fingers crossed this thing lifts now. Long Creek, if you are in Long Creek, Illinois, you need to be running to your safe spot. There is little time left. You need to run to your safe spot. Don't walk. Run to your safe spot. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground doing damage, and it is a dangerous situation. So run to your safe spot if you are in Long Creek, Illinois. There is no other areas of rotation to watch at the moment, so we're just going to stay with the most urgent warning here, which is this confirmed tornado warning. So just please be in your safe spot there. And again, you could see that debris signature there. And also we can go, oh, no. Wow, we could go pretty good up with height there. Probably lofting debris about 5,000 feet up. So that means this is definitely a decently strong tornado. I doubt it's EF2 intensity. If we were to go based off of radar, this would not classify as like an EF2 plus tornado based off of velocity signatures there, but that is lofting debris at least 6,000, oh my word, 7,000, 8,000 feet up. Now that is, on CC alone, that would be considered a strong tornado, but you got to look at your velocity, which does not correlate with that. So we're looking at a near strong tornado. Nearly a strong tornado. Definitely strong enough to where it can do damage to houses. So please be in your safe spot if you're in Long Creek, because this is strong enough to where it can do damage to houses, since we know that debris is being lofted 8,000 feet up into the atmosphere. Which again, if the CC drop correlated with a stronger area of velocity, it would be classified from a radar standpoint. That would be a strong tornado from a radar standpoint, but because the velocity is not stronger, it's not that intense. There's your continuation of your CC drop. We're lofting debris over 10,500 feet now. That is really, really high up. Even though your velocity is not that strong, I would say this is probably a strong tornado. That is probably a strong tornado. The fact that it's lofting debris that high up, even though the velocity doesn't correlate as that strong. I don't know about that St. Louis radar. Yeah, this really damaged a house. It had to hit a house. Because look at the debris. It went from like 3,000, 4,000 feet, and then in 2 scans, it's up to like at least 10,000 minimum. We also just got a significant severe as well, so be in your safe spot if you are inside of that. I highly recommend getting to your safe spot if you are inside that significant severe thunderstorm warning in Clifton and Danforth for 70-mile-an-hour winds. I'm loading up that St. Louis radar site now. Wow. Not good at all. So we're looking at probably debris being lofted beyond 15,000 feet into the atmosphere with that. According to that further radar. Let's see. We do not have a 3D scan yet on it. That is 10 minutes old. That velocity is broken up, so I do think this is probably lifting. How far are we from the radar? We're about 2,100 feet, so that velocity couplet is what's making me skeptical to say it's a strong tornado. Because that's just, it's not strong enough. We typically look for a velocity couplet of a little over 100, and that's barely hitting 50. So I'm very skeptical on that. That's why I mean, it's probably a strong tornado. For those of you who are wondering the PDS criteria, it's a 40 knot VROT. For those who may have not been in the stream long or not tracked these events before, it's a 40 knot VROT. So if you go ahead and do a conversion to that, that requires, let's see here, about 93 knots, which is about a 107 mile per hour area of rotation. So that is the criteria for PDS. Yeah, this is probably Fallout now. See how when you go up by one scan, it spreads out like that? That's likely Fallout. So we'll see if they go confirmed or radar indicated on this warning, which is being issued right now. Should get it any second. According to this, debris is being lofted up to 18,000 feet. I don't know if that is... I really don't know if I want to trust that or not. Yeah, I would trust the closer radar, but even that one is saying 11,000 feet. Okay, they went radar indicated with a new tornado warning. What? Oh, well, looky there. Is that what they warned? We got another tornado warning up here. Yep, I see that. Great call by the National Weather Service to warn this. This could imminently be producing a tornado. So a tornado is either... A tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground with this area of rotation going towards Clifton in northeastern Illinois. And they have decided to continue a observed tornado warning down here for our likely lifting tornado just south of Oakley in Illinois. The thing really picked up a lot of debris. Hopefully, hopefully that was just trees. But unfortunately, I doubt it because there was a lot of homes that this went right over. Yeah, this is probably lifted at this point. Probably lifted now. I mean, we're talking about, I'd say at least 14,000 feet here for that debris being lofted. That is easily a strong tornado, and it's not even close. But the velocity just didn't correlate with that, which I'm a little confused on. So I'm wondering if it just picked up a whole bunch of leaves and was able to toss them that high up. Or what? But yeah, if you take a look here, this is our track of this tornado. If I can hit the right button. There you go. So touchdown right over here. Move to the northeast. Move to the northeast. Just like that. That's your general track of your tornado. So, unfortunately, again, it would definitely have gone over homes, especially in this area right in here. which if we go back on that radar scan, that's these 3 radar scans right here. Gracious day. That debris got bigger, so yeah, I don't think it's on the ground. The velocity definitely doesn't correlate with it being on the ground. Wow. That's a lot of debris though. Yeah, and then this is this could very easily be on the ground at any given second, or could even already be on the ground west of Clifton in northeastern Illinois. So please be in your safe spot there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Gracious. Lagging. There's a tornado on the ground in Illinois. What? Why is this not showing up as a warning? Hold on. I think my WeatherWise is bugged. Yeah, there you go. I don't know why the CC is so large on the southeast side. Couldn't tell you that. If there's another tornado forming out of this, it would be right in here. Ooh, we very easily could have a new tornado developing right where I just circled. We'll have to see what that has next scan. Yeah, look at the yellow spectrum width right there. We'll need to watch that. Easily could be having another tornado forming inside of this little area right in here. You can see that decrease in DBZ value right in the middle. Nearly perfectly lines up with that velocity couplet. Almost lines up perfectly with that. Yeah, so we never got any definitive CC drop from this tornado warning up here west of Clifton, but it wouldn't surprise me if that did briefly drop a tornado at some point. Because that couplet got decently strong there. Now, if it did drop, it looks like that would be in mainly a forested area, so that's really good. But we didn't see any CC, so I can't say if that was or wasn't a tornado, but either way, you still need to be in your safe spot if you're in that tornado warning. But it looks like that's breaking apart now. So we'll stay with this confirmed warning, which I don't know what the CC is doing, and I am really keeping my fingers crossed because I haven't seen that much debris in like 4 months on radar. It's been a long time since I've seen that much fallout. It has been a very long time since I've seen that much CC. And this, I mean, this goes all the way up to, we're talking at least 14,000, 15,000 feet. Can't really tell what's happening here, honestly. Straightforward with you. I do think that this could potentially produce a new tornado at any second. And I just have no idea exactly what's happening with all that debris. They've remained with an observed tornado warning here in place for the next 27 minutes. Let me go back to WeatherWise real quick. I still feel like these warnings are behind. Hold on. I'm going to refresh. I'm just going to hit the refresh button. There. That should help. Gracious, y'all. I don't like that at all. I really hope everyone's okay. Look at all that debris, man. And unfortunately, this went over a decently populated area. Oh, still radar indicated on our northern warning. Just a little area of rotation left on that going into Clifton. And heading towards into Martinton in northeastern Illinois. So just stay in your safe spot there. Gracious day. Lucky, are you looking at the radar? Wakey, wakey.
My bad, I was muted. What, all the debris that's
Yeah.
well, at least being somewhere in the air? Yeah.
I mean, how far does that spread across it?
A good like. Oh no, actually, I can get you
Six and a
the.
half miles?
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Weatherwise says.
I'm on GR2. I don't know if I can do it on GR2.
No, I don't think you can, at least. Let me know if you can, because that's something I haven't found. I've never found that. That looks like more corruption now, so I don't believe that's a tornado on the ground down there. I don't think that is. Just heads up for those who may think that. I don't think it is. I believe that is still fallout left over. I really wonder what in the world radar picked up on here, because you could clearly tell that it was weakening here, lifting here, lifted, most likely lifted here, east of Long Creek, and then it continues with fallout like normal, and then just out of nowhere you get this ginormous drop in correlation here, which is really only something you see with strong to intense tornadoes, something that deep on CC, and it continues another scan and then finally starts to broaden out more and then fully becomes more fallout. So it's almost like it possibly touched down again, even with the lack of velocities in the area, which is very weird. My mind is being very confused. It's being very, very confused by what it's seeing on radar here. Could it just be leaves? Yes.
A lot of them.
But typically you don't see a CC like that with leaves. If you're talking about the dark blue CC,
But-
no.
But I mean, I would say, and if you think about it, but yet again, if you don't really think about it, but it is fall, so or winter now. Actually, now wasn't it like?
So there's not
21st?
as many leaves, yeah.
Yeah, because they're
you
all
check
off
that?
the trees.
Check that link for me, just see if there was anything in there. Looks like it was all rain wrapped though.
I got you. A picture.
Is it a picture?
I mean, TJ. I mean, look. This is what I would say. Look, there's no audio.
Oh, you scared
But-
me by sharing your screen. I thought I was about to be copyrighted to death right there. What about that up there, Lucky? Yeah, that right where your cursor is. No, go up, go up. Yeah, is it not? Wait, I'm gonna mute it. Okay. Wait.
Are you sure?
Don't play it. You playing anything?
Nope, not right now.
Okay. Yep, it's muted.
Okay, I can click it.
Yep. Trying not to get copyrighted on stream, y'all. Man. They've continued that confirmed tornado warning. L-Link, bro. Let's go back up north, because I do want to see if this is... Yeah, so this is pretty much gone now. Still stay in your safe spot, but it looks like that rotation's done. Go back in that, Lucky. See if it was just a chaser they were showing. Uh-huh. Yeah, so someone who I follow did the calculation I was talking to you guys about with a strong tornado and how it needs to be a VROT of about 107 miles per hour, and then when you convert it to a VROT, it eventually goes to 40 knots. And based off of radar alone, this would be about a 125 mile per hour EF2, what we just experienced there. Honestly, I kind of forgot how to do a VROT conversion, so I'm going to do it real quick. I'm gonna just go back and do a quick VROT conversion since it's been so long. So 67 plus 5, which is 72. Yeah, and then you do 62 miles per hour. Or rather, 62 knots. And then divide that by 2. Which that is going to give you 31. So this would have a VROT of 31, which doesn't hit the 40 VROT knot qualification. But again, that debris lofted so high up that it does push it to the criteria of a strong tornado, actually. Not often I see that. Honestly, it's not often that I see that much debris with such a weak signature. Not that common at all. So I apologize if that was very rusty. I'm really rusty with covering tornadoes. I definitely made a few mistakes there. So I apologize because it's been a long time. It's been a very, 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 very long time since I have covered a tornado warning. Like 4 months. Like 3 to 4 months.
It has actually been that, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I mean, we had the 5% with a tornado watch 10 days ago, but I didn't cover that at all. So I haven't done an analysis on a tornado warning in so long. So, ooh, well, watch out. Looks like it's trying to go again over here. This is our other tornado warning, the more northern one near Clifton. In a little area of tight rotation. And this is probably one of the stronger couplets we've gotten today. This would be about a 75 mile per hour couplet, which I think is stronger than at any point with this tornado. I think this one peaked. Let's see if we go back here. Yeah, this one peaked probably right here, which was like, okay, that is 50. Okay, this was like 72. 52. Math. Difficult. 52 miles per hour. Yeah, so the couplet we have right now ongoing with this tornado warning is the strongest we've had all day. At least from what I just showed you guys. So we want to keep an eye on this very, very closely. Again, this is heading east of Clifton, Illinois, moving away from Clifton. Let's see if that dropped anything. I don't see anything. Thankfully, I don't see any debris. So hopefully that was just a little area of rotation that didn't do a thing. Hopefully that just didn't do anything. If it did, it would have been probably over a field or very close to these homes. So hopefully if it dropped, it would have been over the field. Just south of these little home plots here. I mean, it literally would have dropped right in the dead center of that field and then moved off to the east. So hopefully it didn't drop. I didn't see any CC, but again, we very quickly can see a brief tornado touchdown that lifts up barely anything, and then it doesn't get detected by radar. And because of that, you never see it on radar. As a matter of fact, the first tornado of this month, first tornado of December, happened back in just a couple days ago in Kentucky. And radar only had like 2 pixels of velocity. That was like 30 miles an hour. And it ended up producing like an 85 mile per hour EF0. And that was the first tornado of this month. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm looking through the football games today. Seeing who won. Oh man, I'm missing a good game right now.
What game?
Eagles and Bills.
Ooh, that is a good game.
That's a really good game. That's fine. As long as it's not the Super Bowl that I'm missing. I'll be able to catch the end of that. So possible tornado damage this morning south of what? That was with the hailstorm that I saw. I saw that on radar. I didn't look at velocity or anything. I just saw that it was a severe warning for hail. I mean, if that is indeed a tornado and not a microburst, that is very significant damage. We still have fallout here, so yeah, if you're in this area, Ivansdale, you're not in any warning right now, but there's probably sticks, leaves, possibly even some 2x4s falling from the sky here. Some small pieces of wood, some shingles. Shingles are a big one. Shingles, probably what's mostly falling here. Shingles and leaves and sticks. I don't know if there would be any 2x4s because I don't know how strong this tornado was, but based on the debris that was lofted, it wouldn't surprise me, honestly. I mean, this thing lofted the most debris I've seen in a very long time. And I'm really curious if it was multiple tornadoes. Wouldn't surprise me if it was 2 or 3 different vortices. One main wall cloud and mesovortex, but like 3 different vortices, like a multi-vortex tornado. It really wouldn't surprise me with how much debris this picked up. Like, it seems like debris came out of nowhere up here near Long Creek, the main tornado down here, and then like that random jump again. Really wouldn't surprise me if we had multiple vortices with this one main area of circulation. Oh, look what's back again. Gracious State just won't die. 2 areas of rotation up here on our tornado warning for St. Anne. St. Annie, St. Anne. I'm going to say Anne. St. Anne, Illinois. Martinton. Beaverville. And yeah, no, I'm not even going to try with that one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We got another tornado on the ground. Yep. Oh, we might have twins. I have to check that CC when we get all of our products in. We could have twins here. That one's definitely a tornado. Well, I think we very well could have twins on the ground. Look at spectrum width. Clearly 2 areas of spectrum width. Both have CCs now. The northern one's definitely a bit misaligned. Big time CC on that southern one. We could have twins on the ground right now. What is the probability? Yeah, this one has a 100% chance of a tornado. And this one is about a 88.9% chance of it being debris. So I believe we have twins on the ground. If not, we definitely have at least 1 tornado on the ground here. So if you are in St. Anne, Beaverville, Martinton, or this town that I unfortunately don't know how to pronounce, in northeastern Illinois, make sure you are in your safe spot. I'll zoom out so you can get an idea of where this is. So here's the border of Illinois and Indiana. Right here. Chicago's way up here. So if I just go ahead and take our measurement tool here that WeatherWise has for free from downtown Chicago, just to give you an idea, this is about 57.5, 58 miles to the south of Chicago. Just to give you an idea of where that is. So definitely at least 1 tornado. There you go. Still now observed. Now observed. So if you know where Martinton is, Martinton, it is about 4.8 miles northwest of Martinton, moving to the northeast. So it's moving to the northeast like this. That's its general direction, moving northeast just like that. I'm going to loop it just to make sure. Gracious day. Ooh, might be moving a little bit even sharper, more northeast, more like that. Let's go over to... Not that. Let's go over to GR2 real quick. Yes, it's moving a bit more sharper to the northeast, so it's going to be very close call to hit St. Anne. Almost said Santa Anne. St. Anne. Going to be very close to hitting St. Anne here. Good news is the velocity is breaking apart, so fingers crossed this lifts very shortly. Looks like debris was lofted, probably give or take about 6,000 feet, right about 6K right there. So right on the edge of what's considered a strong tornado debris wise. And then we still have our tornado warning in effect down here for 24 minutes, but they might end up canceling that considering I don't see any more rotation. And we did just get a new severe here for Arthur in East Central Illinois. Tore possible 60-mile-an-hour winds. Be away from doors and windows there. Big old debris right there. And I do believe this was indeed twins. I think we had twins because you could see this CC stayed. So probably touched down back here. Moved east. And then it's starting to be pulled southeast. And it's now right in here. So it got pulled a bit more to the east-southeast. Because this tornado, which touched down probably somewhere right in here, moved to the northeast and started merging with it. And now kind of broke it apart. So maybe the two tornadoes merged, and because they merged, it kind of broke them apart. Pulled them apart from each other. So at least one tornado, possibly two tornadoes, now merged, and I think both have lifted, and we'll see if we can actually get another tornado to get back on the ground here. Because I do think there is no longer a tornado on the ground, and if it is, it's probably still very weak, but that rotation is ramping right back up, so we could either get another tornado on the ground, or the one that could possibly still be on the ground could strengthen further. It's hard to say if this is on the ground right now or if it is lifting. We'll have to see what the next scan has. Yeah, it seems like most of the community are saying twins. Gracious day, the whole community. My word. Twin tornadoes likely on the ground. Twin tornadoes ongoing. 2 tornadoes on the ground. 2 weak circulations. Could produce tornadoes. Seems like pretty much everyone's thinking that was twins. I do have some good news for you guys, though. The MCD has been downgraded a bit in wording, as we just got a new MCD. Unfortunately, they still do say the threat for continued embedded circulations will continue, along with occasional damaging wind gust. So decrease the wording on the winds substantially. The hail remains about the same, maximum about 1 inch hail. And then the tornado threat downgraded a little bit in wording. So a few brief spin-up tornadoes with embedded circulations could still occur. And occasional damaging wind gusts with very small hail could also occur. And new scan, I don't really know what's happening. These are 2 weird storms, man. 2 weird storms. We had twins. The first one had possibly like 3 or 4 different vortexes because of all the debris we saw. And then this one's got twins. Not to even mention the whole entire blizzard we're seeing right now. So this warning expires in 5 minutes. I don't know if they'll continue it. I feel like they probably will, just because it is trying to reorganize a little bit. So we'll see if they do issue a new radar indicated warning here shortly for that storm. This tornado warning, I think yeah, it's been canceled. So we're down to just 2 severes and a tornado warning that should expire at any moment. Or, my bad, in 4 minutes. New scan there. We'll have to see what velocity shows, because that could be another tornado on the ground there. If that's the case, we'll definitely see an expansion of that warning. Oh, that's a tough call right there. So either we just got another weak tornado to touch down, or this is still fallout. Either way, I do think we'll see a new tornado warning here shortly. Because either way, this storm is still tornadic. Either it's a tornado that's lifted and trying to reproduce, or it is a tornado on the ground again. What's horrible is I think both of these storms hit homes. I think both of the storms that produced tornadoes ended up impacting homes. So fingers crossed everybody's okay there. Because, yeah, getting hit by a tornado is really rough. But the good news is these were on the weaker side of things. So hopefully everybody was seeking shelter. And if they were seeking shelter, they probably are all right. Seeking shelter is so important. If you're in your safe spot, you can survive most tornadoes. It's when tornadoes get violent that is a lot harder, unfortunately. But tornadoes like this, if you're in your safe spot, if you're in the interior room of your home, if you're in your bathroom, especially if you have like a mattress over your head inside the bathtub, if you're in your storm shelter, most of the time you're going to be perfectly fine, even if you take a direct hit by these weak tornadoes. I do think that is lifted. So it is so important to seek shelter. It is so important to seek shelter when you're under a tornado warning. Also, to make sure that shelter is good. Don't just run in your house randomly. Make sure you are in a proper spot. Make sure you're in the most interior room of your home. Make sure you have as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. Get down. If you can, you put a helmet on. Or if you're able to, if your safe spot's your bathroom, like I said, get inside your bathtub and put a helmet on, or put a mattress over your bathtub while you're in it. And that's really, really a really good safe spot too. And even something better is a basement. Go in a basement away from all the windows if you have windows in your basement. Most interior room you can in your basement, or a storm shelter as well. The best spot is a storm shelter. The second best is probably the basement. Third best is probably that interior room. And then like your last ditch effort is to just be in the house and low. A big old tornado warning confirmed here for the next 31 minutes here. Spotter reports have indicated tornadoes, plural, meaning 2. Spotter reports have indicated tornadoes near St. Anne and Martinton within the past few minutes. So they do have plural on that. And notice how much bigger this warning is. You know why that is? That's because of these circulations further south, where we could see additional spin-up tornadoes here off to the south. So we had our 2 tornadoes up in here, potentially another one trying to spin up right there. And then our newest frame, we could see something try to reorganize or just organize as a whole down in there. So they have a much larger warning there. And this definitely has a good chance to reorganize. Yeah, so today, I will gladly admit that I was wrong. This is verified grade as a 5% tornado risk thus far. Today definitely performed how the so far how the SPC was expecting, not how I was expecting, because I think we've had at least 3 tornadoes, and I think one of those was a multi-vortex, and we'll probably end up with another tornado shortly out of somewhere in this warning, unless we get lucky and these mergers help hurt it.
Yeah,
Whoa, where'd you come
just
from?
I've been here.
I forgot
I'm just
about
letting you.
you.
I know. I'm just letting you talk.
Better be careful when you do that, like you might scare me.
I think I did scare you a little bit.
You did, honestly. My volume's pretty high up on my
I'm not
headset.
close to my mic. Kind of. I mean, I kind of am, but like not really.
Lucky jump scare over here. I'm not gonna go for too much longer, y'all. I'm gonna try to just see what this is gonna do, but I do want to go do some stuff with Lucky, and then I have some things I want to do tonight too. So I didn't plan to cover, but I ended up covering. Lucky, why are your tornado warnings on GR2 pink?
That's my confirmed.
Oh, okay, a little bit more acceptable there, but really that should be your PDS.
I think my PDS is blue.
My confirmed is blue.
My PDS is
Yo,
blue. I think my
what?
Tori is black,
That's acceptable. Wait, what's your normal one though?
red.
Okay. I mean, that's not horrible. I've seen worse.
I bet. Yeah, I've seen some crazy ones.
I've seen some insane ones. I'm like,
I've seen red for the severe thunderstorm warning.
I can't stand that type of person. I can't. No. Uh-uh. Red severe warnings. Nope. Orange severe warnings. Okay. Yellow. Okay. Um, those are really the two only acceptable ones. Yellow and orange, really.
Even orange is.
I have orange for destructives.
Yes, thank you.
We don't technically have a line of tornadoes, but we have a line that is capable of producing tornadoes.
Oh
Did you just die or something?
no, I'm playing. You'd be shocked what I'm playing.
Are you doing what I think you're doing?
No,
I think I know.
no. Oh come on. Okay.
this dude, bruh. Yeah, so we
Wait.
have like 3, 4 different areas to keep an eye on here. I don't think there's a tornado actively on the ground. No, there's nothing's lighting up here. This is the probability of a tornado being on the ground right now, and there's nothing lighting up. So I don't think we have one on the ground. They did just upgrade this to a significant severe, like he just broke his chair. Significant severe for 70-mile-an-hour winds for the next 11 or so minutes. So preferably be in your safe spot if you are in that highlighted yellow severe thunderstorm warning. And then we have normal severe thunderstorm warnings down here, but these are TOR possible 60-mile-an-hour wind severe. So it's best to be indoors, away from doors and windows, and close to your safe spot. Stay close to your safe spot because we could end up getting a tornado inside this line in the next couple minutes. And the area I would watch the most for that is definitely this little area of gray and red velocity colors here. Just to the north of Chesterville in east central Illinois. And yeah, thankfully, I think most of this is broken apart. Still want to keep an eye on that little tail end here. Just to the east of Hopkins Park in northeastern Illinois. But thankfully, I don't see anything overly impressive right now. I don't see anything that I'm worried about tornado-wise for this very scan here. I do want to go check the new HRRR real quick. Even though that's not a good thing to do, I'm still going to do it. Also, good news is the next hour is our peak environment. Uh, After that, we're done for the peak environment. Our peak environment has been the last 3 hours and one more hour. So we've had 4 hours of a peak environment, and we're on the last 50 or so minutes of that. So the chances for a tornado, whilst will still be present, will be going down after 6 Eastern, as our instability has actually decreased quite dramatically. We had some spots of upwards of 1,100 Cape, and we only have some spots here of 775, 500, 667, of course, 565, 819. So I think the most Cape is down like right in here. Right in here is probably where our Cape is the highest. So that's where these severes are, which thankfully our storm mode is more linear down there. So I do think we'll have another hour and a half, 2 hours where tornadoes will be a possibility, and then after 7 o'clock Eastern, after 7 Eastern, our tornado threat is going to be going down very rapidly, and here in about an hour, our tornado threat will be going gradually down. So I think we've passed our peak tornado threat. Our peak environment, again, ends in about an hour. And then after 7 Eastern, all hazards threat decreases quite rapidly. And then beyond 8 p.m., I don't think we'll have much to really look at, really. Yeah, I don't expect much at all after 8. I expect next to nothing. When does this expire? 4 hours? Oh, 9 p.m. Yeah, okay. Yeah. 8, 9 p.m. I don't expect much to happen after that. Four hours from now is 9 p.m. I thought it was going to be closer to 7 p.m. for that watch expiring. Let's see. What time do storms hit me? So let's see here. That's about. They're a little bit ahead of schedule, so that's 6 o'clock. I would say about 7:30, right about 7:30 Eastern. Right around there. But yeah, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button and share this channel with your family, friends, social media. If you are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. We go live a lot more often during tornado season, obviously. So there's going to be a more lull in live streams and content here during the winter months. And yeah, do plan on doing chases next year. That's for sure. I cannot wait to get chasing again.
Oh my dude.
Because
I
I was
wait.
doing it like literally one point I did 4 chases in 1 week, so I just completely quit out of nowhere and it not fun.
Yeah. No, I can't wait. Something's telling me that this is our year where we
I
get
think it's going to be
our
below
tornado.
average tornado season, so probably not.
I still think that we're gonna get our tornado somehow, some way. We're gonna do it. I don't know. Just
Probably
something's
not,
telling me.
bro. Probably not.
I will. I'll
Safe
make
to
sure of
drive
that.
from New York to North Carolina tomorrow. Now, why would you want to do that? There's nothing fun in North Carolina.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can tell. I can tell you from experience. I have
um,
19 years of experience in North Carolina.
I would definitely be. So in the morning hours, it's likely going to be a lot of rain, but you're really going to have to watch out once you get towards Pennsylvania tomorrow evening for snow squalls. So just be careful driving. I think you'll be fine. The further south you get, the better conditions you're going to get. Once you get past southern Pennsylvania, you're going to be good. So all of Virginia, probably all of Maryland, and all of North Carolina, you're perfectly fine to travel in. I'd say you're better off leaving earlier, depending on when you got to go. But the best time would definitely be to just travel when it's raining and then it clears up in the afternoon. And then by the time the snow comes in tomorrow night, you're already clear of that snow and in southern Pennsylvania. But obviously, it just depends when you're planning to leave. Lucky, don't get me copyrighted. I heard that.
Heard what?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I just heard something. I knew severe down here. They just be putting Tor Possible on anything these days. Anything but in North Carolina and Virginia, man. Yeah, I got a random Tor Possible down here. It's not even showing up on Weatherwise still. There you go. Observed 60-mile-an-hour winds, though, moving into Vernon, so please be away from doors and windows there. For sure want to be away from doors and windows. And then, yeah, just a few little areas to watch for spin up tornado. But again, I think we are done with our main event. And I think our peak environment will be done in the next 50 minutes. And then after 7 p.m. Eastern time, all hazards threat goes down rapidly. Am I getting snow in Tennessee? Let's see. I'd say probably not, but I wouldn't rule out a chance of snow in far northeastern Tennessee. If you're in northern Tennessee, that's the best chance, like north of Nashville, right up in here. Northeast of Nashville. That's probably the best chance for any chance of snow, but if you do get snow, it's definitely not going to accumulate, and it will be very, very light. And the best chance for that is going to be starting tomorrow about 1 p.m. And then that chance will continue all the way till Tuesday about 5 a.m. Tuesday morning. TN is in tonight. Oh, got it. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. I don't know where you live. I believe I have forgotten. What in the world? We got a blizzard warning in Texas. Oh, Eastern Oklahoma. Okay, I know where you live now. I remember. You're out here in northeastern Oklahoma. I remember now. Let's see. Yeah, Grove, Oklahoma. Yep. See, I remembered. I just needed a little refresher. My brain ain't so smart. No. No snow. Sorry, no snow. New tornado warning. What? Yeah, these are going to keep going, but I'm going to go ahead and conclude now, y'all. So just be weather aware. I'll keep an eye on things, and if it really pops off, I'll go back live. But I got stuff I want to do today, so I'm going to head off. We're probably going to see another tornado or two. That's likely going to happen. I think we'll see some isolated 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and isolated 1-inch hail. So, yeah, I think we're going to call it quits here. But severe weather is still going to continue, so just make sure you're hyper weather aware. Keep an eye on things, and you'll be good. Again, just be weather aware. You'll be fine. Let's see, near Fort Smith. That's over here. It looks like a fire to me. Fires typically have like a bluish CC right in the... Ah, is the wrong app, so I'm not going to be able to see it. Nope, that's a fire. That's a fire. They typically have like this darker blue CC in a straight line, so I'm betting that is a fire, and I'll go check on satellite to see if I can confirm it. Oh, it's cloudy out here. I can't tell. It's probably a fire, but I cannot confirm on satellite. Lucky, get off of TikTok.
No.
Did you hear him slam his phone down? We caught him. We got him.
No, that was my keyboard.
Uh-huh.
Promised you it was.
Say goodbye to stream. I'm gonna head off.
Bye, stream. I was in the background watching Radar. Just want to put that out there.
On a scale of 1 to
So-
10, how much do you trust him? 1. 0.
Bro, I was watching it on my phone.
Mhm. All right, y'all. Just stay weather
I
aware.
love y'all. I love y'all.
There's a lot of activity happening, so just be weather aware. There's quite a few other people live right now, so I always encourage you to go watch them. Just make sure you trust them, and you're good. Just make sure you trust them, and that's it. But of course, I always recommend the National Weather Service, the National Hurricane Center, the Weather Prediction Center. Those are your official sources. Your local meteorologists, also official sources there. And if if you can't find the information you're wanting from that, then you can go to YouTubers. Just make sure you trust them, and they give out good information. So thank you, Monster Spawn Chat. Thank you everybody for being here. I will not be live until 2026. So happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's, y'all.
Sounds very weird. We're heading into 2026, and it will be the year that me and Lucky do not see a tornado again.
No, y'all, okay, I don't want to make a promise because literally the weather could change every second, but I will try my best to the best of my ability. If I can chase a day, I'm gonna chase. If there's a 2% tornado risk, I'm just gonna camp in the dead center of it.
All right.
I'm gonna go to the outlook and camp.
Yeah. I'll talk to you after stream, Lucky. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, y'all. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Stay safe, watch severe weather, and have a fantastic rest of your night. Happy New Year's. And yeah, again, thank you, Monster from Chat. Stay safe, watch severe weather, watch the snowfall, and yeah, go watch some football. Goodbye.
See you later, brother.
Stay safe, watch your weather in the snowfall, and I'll see you guys in the next stream in 2026. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.